Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, Sim football fans around the world. Welcome to this second game of your Thursday night SFLm triple header as the 3-3 Philadelphia Cougars host the 5-1 San Jose Flight. My name's John Campbell, and I'm here in the booth with DJ Kilgannon, calling the game for you. DJ, tell me what you're looking for in tonight's matchup.
You know, John, I'm looking at these offenses too. I think they're just going to run the ball down each other's throats. I really do. I feel like they have two very potent rushing attacks, both of them, Philly and San Jose alike. Philadelphia, however, more of a two-headed backfield. Jesse and Smithers-Witherson get a nice half-and-half split, pretty close to it. Rashawn Williams, however, gets the majority of the carries in San Jose. I think it's going to be a run-first game all around in this one.
I think that's a great call, DJ. Rashawn Williams, of course, the league's second leading rusher behind New York's Dominic Kane. And oftentimes we see this San Jose team lean heavily on him as their lead back for the game plan. Let's see if that holds true on this first drive as they receive the first kick of the game. Their wide receiver Aiden Teixeira brings it out of the end zone up to the 30-yard line, and Brady White takes the field alongside that aforementioned halfback Rashawn Williams. He's joined by Joel Harleman down from Detroit and Speedy Gonzalez from Bossier City. The wide receivers Jamar Shelton, Aiden Teixeira, and Jimmy Wint are the main weapons as they line up here in a tight formation with a tight end on the line on both sides and Williams alone in the backfield. There's the tight end Robert Henson Jr. motioning to the far side of the field, and Brady awaits the snap. Hands it to Williams, who runs it to the near side, avoids a tackle, jumps over another one, and pushes the ball forward for a 7-yard gain. 2nd and 3. First drive starts with an excellent run by Rashawn Williams.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to set the tone. Your receivers out in front holding significant blocks to let your routes develop. You're already seeing Rashawn Williams break a tackle. I think that's something we're going to be saying a lot of tonight.
This time lined up with Joel Harleman and Speedy Gonzalez on the field. There's Jamar Shelton motioning to the near side of the field, and they hand the ball off to Joel Harleman, pushes forward and falls for extra gains beyond the first down. And that's an excellent change of pace back that they have there, moving from Williams to Harleman.
Yeah, absolutely. It is like it's like thunder and lightning. Rashawn Williams so powerful yet quick at the same time. Harleman a little bit more methodical in running.
There's Williams again bouncing off a tackle and pushing forward for a few extra yards to finish introducing that San Jose offense. The tight ends Robert Henson Jr. and Goradul Khan. And then the line is headed by the tackle Landon Onham and the guard Jack Big Boss. White brings his offense out of the huddle and approaches the line of scrimmage again with a couple of tight ends on the far side on an I formation. Williams ready to take the ball while Philadelphia shows blitz. Pushes forward just shy of that first down. The ref says that he was only about 9 yards gained instead of the 10 needed, and we are left with 3rd and inches. Don't be surprised to see another run here by either Harleman or maybe even Gonzalez.
Yeah, certainly expect to see one, and we do.
Harleman for that short gain, but it's enough for the first down, and that's all you need against that Philadelphia defense to keep that chain moving. Speaking of the Philadelphia defense, let's introduce you to them. The defensive tackle, Harris Kilgore, is joined on the line by ends Carlos Carter and Shin Yonita. White snaps the ball with a 3-step drop back, and this is his first pass of the game, absolutely nailing that pass into a tight window to the tight end, Goradul Khan.
Yeah, a very tight window to throw that football. No one better to hit in that spot than your big tight end. Just a seam route right up the middle, separating the safeties. That's exactly what you want to see from one of those routes, and a terrific throw from Brady.
And that's right. Not Philadelphia's secondary is no joke with cornerback Sammy Seatbelt III and Drew Drizzy and the free safety Tyler Highfield back there holding things down. Williams takes the ball with a little bit of a spin move, gets an 8-yard gain on that play to set up San Jose beautifully as this drive nears the red zone.
Yeah, now they're breaking out this run a little bit more as the field shortens.
Lining up in a tight I formation, putting Williams behind Gonzalez, and they pass it off. Oh, that's Harleman, rather. Dances through the line, a quick little shimmy step, and pushes forward for a 6-yard gain. We are at 1st and goal to go. It looks like you called it right, DJ. This San Jose Flight offensive coordinator was happy to start the game on the ground.
Yeah, certainly seems to be so, and continuing to stay in a 4-3 to try and help slow down the run, but they just continue to do so at such a high rate.
Delayed handoff out of the split back formation. Williams gets the ball and pushes it almost to the end zone, but can't quite get that last yard. 2nd and goal from about the 1-yard line and a couple of inches. The playbook is probably still going to be a lot of these jumbo formations and cramming the ball up on this stacked box.
You're going to see it a little bit more, a 9-person box here for Philadelphia.
There's Robert Huntington Jr. motioning to the far side of the field to try and get a read of defense and get a favorable matchup for Harleman as he gets the ball, dances over the line of scrimmage and pushes forward for the first touchdown of the game. San Jose Flight take a 6-0 lead after one drive.
They sure do, and these linebackers for Philadelphia stayed busy on that drive. Were in most of those tight running plays to help bring down the tackler. You saw another one meet him there. J.C. Wallace Jr. tried to hold Harleman back, but enough momentum behind Harleman's running was able to push over him, and they're punched in for 7 on right over a 4-minute drive. That's a great way to start out the game if you want to keep up that running attack.
Admir takes the kick, and sure enough, she gets it right through the uprights for that 7th point. 4 minutes and 5 seconds on a 10-play drive. San Jose absolutely controlled the field throughout that entire series, both on the ground and going to the air. Just that one time, but it was the one time that they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, came in when they needed, and it certainly worked. And it's about what we expected. We know this Flight offense, it comes down to they want to run the ball, but when they have to pass, they're more than happy to. Brady White, who led this team to a championship last season at the helm, they have him in their back pocket when they need him. Philadelphia, however, again, we mentioned a pair of good halfbacks, and Mike Skamizniak, who has thrown the ball a ton. 211 passes coming into the week, a lot more interceptions than you'd like to see, but hoping to see if they can have a nice bounce back week in this
That's
game.
right. Skamizniak is leading the league in total offensive yardage, and he takes the field in a single back formation with Jesse Fretz, the halfback, lined up behind him. Surveys the field in front of him. We'll see if he starts with a run. No, he takes a 5-step drop and goes quickly to the air, but cannot come down with the ball. That is, looks like one of his wide receivers might have been Queen Jackson there. Mike Skamizniak is joined by his halfbacks, Jesse Fretz and Smithers Witherson IV. And the wide receivers, Victor Rojas and Leon McBrownski, lead the group with Queen Jackson and Dallas Sanders coming down in the Dev League. Here we have one of the tight ends motioning to the near side of the field. Skamizniak again drops back, and he is pressured hard by that Flight defensive line. I think that was the defensive end, Dave Wolf, who is leading the league in sacks and pressures.
Yeah, it sure was. Wolf was the one who definitely brought that pressure from that back end, and already itching at the first sack of the game for him. We haven't seen a game for San Jose go by where he hasn't had a sack.
Cougars line up in an empty formation. Skamizniak takes a 5-step drop, surveys the field, gets rid of it quickly, and that is McBrownski coming down with the yardage needed for that first down to keep this Cougars drive alive.
Yeah, nice fail-safe safety valve target, if you will, there. First Skamizniak, you see the cross route to take the middle of the field, and once you have the inside step on that cornerback, it's easy money for a big receiver like McBrownski. But a good job at Fretz being able to block out of the backfield, because Dave Wolf was about to clobber Skamizniak again, but he just had barely enough time to throw.
Cougars line up in a single back formation with tight ends on both sides. Hand off the ball to Jesse the Fresh Prince, and he spins forward for a 6-yard gain. That's what you love to see out of your lead back. You don't need to get a first down every play, but if you're getting 4, 5, and even 6 yards, you're going to be moving the chains with success consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stay ahead of the sticks. That's your main goal. 6 to start is a phenomenal way to look at it. And with how their offense produces, you don't want to fall behind. Huge tackle for loss. Talk about falling behind. Did so there, and luckily for them, forward progress went in their favor.
Witherson at the fourth was met at the line, but was able to churn forward for just a couple of inches at least and keep some progress going. Cougars lining up once again in this single back formation. It seems like they're happy putting only one of these backs on the field at a time, so they're staying rested. Ooh, and Skimizniak pump fakes and takes too much time, and there's the other defensive end, Frodo Laggins, Dev League player down from Detroit, who brings down Skimizniak on the sack, our first sack of the night.
Yeah, first sack of the night. And you look at Frodo Laggins, not the type of season you want out from one of your ends. Only one tackle statted up to this week in games. But, you know, he's coming in when it counts. He provides some nice pressure along that edge. And that time certainly was the case, being able to bring down Skimizniak. And that's something against this San Jose front that you're going to have to keep in control. You cannot let the pressure get to Skimizniak, or it's just going to be a bad night. We see him prone to a lot of interceptions, has 15 on the season, and 11 times he has been sacked.
And this flight defense is no joke. They just showed it with that drive. They'll pressure you as often as they can. After a great punt by Todd Tupa, the flight offense is now pinned down at their own 19-yard line as we see Robert Henson Jr. motion to the far side of the field while White is surrounded by backs in a split back formation. 5 seconds to go. Another delayed handoff out of this formation. It looks like they're having some success with that play as Williams is able to get 5 on the first play of the drive.
Yeah, runs into Wallace off the edge after a nice gain of 5. And if you're able to get enough blocking by your offensive line to where you aren't touched until you're at the second level at those linebackers, it's going to be a long night for them.
Those Philadelphia linebackers were the only group that we weren't able to get introduced in the last drive. That's J.C. Wallace Jr. on the outside, usually playing at the Sam position. And then inside, we've got Nick Fargo in the Dev League playing down from D.C. As we saw Harlem in there just get enough yardage for that first down. Haven't seen that big play explosion yet from these backs, but they're keeping the chains moving and the flight offense on the field.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, you don't need it all in one play. It certainly would help, but Williams and Harleman doing such a terrific job. I mean, it seems like 5 yards every time they touch the football. And shout out to the offensive line as well. They're making huge holes for these runners to run through.
If they don't already, by the end of the night, J.C. Wallace and Rashawn Williams are going to have a nice rivalry going. They seem to be meeting each other over and over again. Mm-hmm. This time, Harleman pushing to the near side of the field, where he's met by Fargo and Shin Yoneda.
Yeah, that was a nice cluster of defenders there, able to stop him short. But now this is where your offense thrives, right? I mean, you only need 2 yards in an offense that has been so potent on the ground.
And that's the I formation, giving Williams enough blocking. And then he cuts back on the inside at the hash mark to fall forward. Instead of just being content with the little bit of yardage he needs, he follows an excellent block by Landon on him to push forward for a great gain of 7 or 8 on that. White now lining up again in that split back formation with Rashad Williams on the far side. Again, the delayed handoff. But this time, the Philadelphia defense sees it coming, and that is Nate Webster on the tackle as soon as the ball gets handed off.
Yeah, that one was just completely blown up, and there wasn't a whole lot of room to run there. You're not going to see that a whole lot for San Jose, but now they have 2 to the outside. They are going to throw.
Takes a 3-step drop. And a little curl route lets Jamar Shelton with an excellent grab then fall forward. Doesn't have enough momentum to get a ton of yards after the catch, but he can use that long, lean body of his to fall forward and get a few more yards out of the play. Turns that 2nd and 11 into a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, as aforementioned, this is a team that loves to run, but when they have to pass, they are going to do it successfully. That time, Brady staying composed and throwing a very nice time curl route on the left side of the formation to cut the distance.
White lining up in the I formation with tight ends and a slot receiver on the near side. Takes another drop back in. Ooh, the play is broken up before Henson Jr. can come down with it. That's another linebacker, I think, Jack Golden there, number 53. Oh, no, that's Nick Fargo, the inside linebacker, our Mike player from DC.
Yeah, Fargo and Golden are two you're going to see a lot of on this linebacking core. Being as Philadelphia only does have two contracted linebackers, that being J.C. Wallace and Nick Fargo, you are going to see Jack Golden be on the field quite a bit. He does play that middle Mike spot in the 4-3 defense. And with the offensive sets that San Jose is running up to this point, we're going to see a whole lot of it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every single formation apart from special teams that Philadelphia has been in has been 4-3 up to this point.
Philadelphia takes a punt that puts them in their own 11. Excellent work by both punters when they've been called on so far tonight. Mike Skomizniak lining up again with that single back formation with stacked slot receiver and tight end on the far side. Hands off the ball to the near side. Fretz, who spins a little too early and gets met in the backfield by Dave Wolf, who is just taking him out right there at the knees. Oh, no, that's Luis Caduti Jr., the outside linebacker coming in. Speaking of, let's introduce you to these flight linebackers. Offensive, on the outside, we've got Luis Caduti Jr. and Jesus Smith coming in from Florida. And at the Mike position, Isaac Faison, wearing number 44. Oh, and there's just an absolute leaping play by Luis Caduti Jr. Don't know if you know this, but his father used to play wide receiver in the minor leagues a few years ago. He comes by that leaping ability honestly. And then finally, the secondary for the flight is headed by the corner Andre Pope and the free safety Ramnar Sudi. Mike Skomizniak now lined up in the single back formation with quads receivers spread all around. He surveys the field, passes it to the far side, and a beautiful jumping catch by McBrownski there, coming down with the first down. He has got a lot of trust in the outside receiver in McBrownski, and it shows, and he is leading the league in touchdowns and big yard catches like that one. Even though Victor Rojas is a beautifully talented receiver on this team, McBrownski is getting enough of the open looks from the defense that he can come down with these excellent acrobatic catches. We approach now the end of the first quarter. San Jose up 7-0. Philadelphia hosting the defending champions. They've got the ball still. Skomizniak is got the time here in the break between quarters to make sure that he's got his receivers in agreement with what they're looking for. Lining up in the single back formation with two tight ends and two receivers. Fretz gets the ball. Oh, no, we have some motion here. That is Tony Zoma from Carolina to set the edge on the near side. But Skomizniak does a quick drop back, and again, there's Leon McBrownski for a few yards, and there's the first down he needs, falling forward for that final push of yardage.
Yeah, McBrownski runs the cross there. You're going to see him get the inside step on the receiver right there. Splits the press, does a terrific job of getting the hands of Pope off of him and enough time to step in front of the corner when he knows the ball is coming his way. A great display of press offense there from McBrownski.
Flight showing pressure, and they bring pressure, rushing extra linebackers, leaving the receiver one-on-one on coverage, but Andre Pope makes up for that last play and prevents Leon McBrownski from coming down with the ball there for another huge gain.
Yeah, that was a huge display of coverage. Did a tremendous job of, although being a step behind and playing off the back hip, of getting a hand in front and being able to stop the trajectory of the ball from reaching the receiver's hand.
Victor Rojas motions from the slot to just outside the hash mark. Skomizniak drops back to pass McBrownski, sheds the first tackle, and pushed out of bounds after another 15-yard gain. These are some huge plays through the air that we're seeing from Skomizniak, and while we were potentially anticipating Fretz and Witherson to take over this game, it looks like we might have another huge night from Leon McBrownski.
Yeah, absolutely, and it seems like they've put the keys to the show in Skomizniak's hand and said, here, go make a name of it, and certainly doing a good job of it in this one up to this point, connecting on some tight throws. We saw another one there. where McBrownski was able to get the step inside on Pope.
Single back three formation, three receivers on the near side, one on the far side. An excellent out route catch to receiver who's wearing number 17. That is Victor Rojas, who was a dominant force last season, and it seems like defenses are planning for him every week this year because he gets a couple of these big catches, but we're not seeing him pop off the way that we did before.
Yeah, we're seeing Rojas play against his very own Flight, who he was a part of last season in his new home of Philadelphia. He's done a really good job of adapting to his new quarterback here in Philadelphia, however.
Another quick pass to Rojas for a 6-yard gain. Skmizniak looks like he's making these short reads on the 3-step passes, and if he is doing a 5-step drop back, he's getting rid of the ball as soon as he plants his feet after. Lining up again here with tight end on the near side, Dane Jensen, and a tight end and slot receiver on the far side. There's the block Jensen pushing to the far side, potentially showing that they're going to run to that strong side of the ball with the single back Smithers Witherson. Oh, but it's a fake. They actually run to the near side and not able to get too much of a gain as the Mike linebacker Robert Thomas coming in on that 3-4 look to get the stop.
Yeah, completely blew that one up, and I bet Philadelphia is going to go to another pass here, probably to make Brownski on another one of those routes where he's able to cut inside of the corner.
Flight show pressure, but don't bring any, but it still is enough room. Rojas finds a hole in the zone coverage there. Looked like cover 2, and Rojas cuts out on the route just between the linebacker and the corner to get the first down, keep these Cougars driving, and the Flight defense on the field getting tired as the Cougars hit the red zone here. Lining up in the single back formation, one receiver to the far side, 3 on the near side. Skmizniak 3-step drop back, throws into coverage, and Rojas can't make the contested catch against Jeremetrius Butler, the second corner of the Flight.
Yeah, and that's something you got to be careful about when it comes to those curl routes, because it's going to be one of your first reads in the play. However, whenever the defensive back is there, you absolutely can't throw it because you're going to have a situation there where the back is able to make a play on the ball, and it could end badly.
Another pass, Skmizniak escaping to the far side, and he throws it into double coverage, and that's what Rojas gets the big bucks for. Getting their first touchdown of the game, Philadelphia capitalizes on some excellent plays by McBrownski and ends up with a excellent highlight reel catch for Victor Rojas, getting 6 points on the board. Here comes Sophia Peaches from Fort Worth to see if they can tie this game up at 7 points apiece.
Yes, Skmizniak showed a lot of trust in Rojas on that play to great avail, clearly. I mean, you had to throw that one close enough to the receiver to where the safety over the top couldn't get a hand on it, but far enough ahead to where the defensive back playing behind didn't have a chance to make a play. Just a very technical display of awareness there from the quarterback, and not to mention a terrific catch. And what you mentioned was double coverage there.
Capping off a 90-yard drive for the Cougars, but now the Flight take the field back. Jamar Shelton taking the kickoff all the way up to the 37-yard line. That is excellent starting field position. After we've seen some wonderful work out of the punters, dropping both teams pretty deep in their own zones, the place-kicking game has allowed the teams to get past the 30, as we see Shelton throwing off that first tackle in a violent manner as Brady White takes the field for this drive.
Yeah, pretty much expecting to see much of the same here for San Jose after what was a previously dominant first drive from them. Just got to keep your foot on the gas and let your runners do what they do.
And they sure do start the drive by handing the ball off to Rashawn Williams, who's met at the line by the Cougars defense and can't characteristically fall forward the way that he normally does, with San Jose now with a 2nd and 10. Looks like the Cougars are ready for the challenge as the line spreads and dares Harleman to come at the line again. But White drops back for the pass. Oh, and there's Jamar Shelton behind the entire defense. And the touchdown is saved by Kev Seeley Jr., the strong safety. Otherwise, it would have been an easy score for Shelton, as he just found an easy hole on the outside of the field, as it looks like Drew Drizzy got a little too aggressive on the early part of the coverage of that play.
Yeah, and we talked about how Rojas came from San Jose, now plays in Philadelphia. Shelton, however, came from Philadelphia and is now playing in San Jose. Did a little flip-flop, if you will, making a huge play on that one, already well into the red zone.
Only 2 catches on the day for Shelton. These made both of them count. Over 60 yards on the day. There's White dropping back to the pass to the dev receiver, Jimmy Wint from Detroit. Able to get a few yards out of the play, but they are still left with 2nd and goal to go from about the 7-yard line. White lines up in a single back formation, 1 receiver on the near side, 2 on the far side with a slot or a tight end. There's blocking. Rashawn Williams spins and jumps, pushes down to the 2-yard line, but can't get further than that. The flight now with 3rd and goal to go from just past the 2-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, that's something I want to see more of. They passed on that first play of the set of downs. Keep running the ball. That's what you do best.
Extra blockers lining up on the near side. Harleman gets caught up behind the fullback, and there's Carlos Carter, the defensive end, meeting him behind the line. And San Jose is going to have to bring out Sila Almir for the 20-yard field goal attempt to go up by 3 here in the second.
Yeah, Carter, who had previously joined on June 4th, one of your very young rookies in the SFLm, getting involved on that play. And a huge stop it was. Able to play very well off the offensive line, find a nice gap in the blocking scheme, and he took advantage of it, stopping San Jose on what should have certainly been a touchdown drive for them after the explosive play from Shelton.
That's right. You're never going to frown at points on the board, but if you're the San Jose flight, you might be sitting there on the sideline wondering what could have been after that huge play from Shelton. Here comes the Philadelphia halfback, Thomas Jones, receiving the kickoff, able to get Philadelphia to start their drive at the 33-yard line. Mike Skomizmiak taking the field after a wonderful drive last time out. And pretty quickly, I might add, too, you're not sure if the flight defenses really had the chance to rest up after what was a short drive. Although it ended in points, it was still a short drive on the clock by the flight offense.
Yep, sure was. And yeah, it's a good point. San Jose not having a lot of time to rest considering how fast their offense got downfield. But the more you're out there, the more experience you're going to have against them.
Skomizniak holding onto the ball for too long, and he gets brought down by Debrickashaw Molyneux, the defensive tackle who is centering and anchoring that flight defensive line, able to just push right past Duke LaRue and get at Skomizniak from behind. It's fortunate there was only a 2-yard loss for Philadelphia, as now they're at 2nd and 12 from their own 31-yard line. Skomizniak lining up again in that single back formation, but he drops back, fakes the pass, and again holds on to the ball too long as Isaac Faison comes torpedoing up the middle of that line, dropping him back for a huge loss.
Yeah, Faison slips around the blocker, and he legit looked like Edge from WWE there. That's a textbook spear right there, right to the midsection of Skomizniak, giving him his first, not only of the season, but on his career. Congratulations.
Always appreciate an Attitude Era reference, but here's Skomizniak now 3rd and 21. Oh, and they go for the QB sneak, not only to get about 10 yards out of it. Usually you'd love to see 10 yards on a QB sneak, but when you're at 3rd and 21, resulting in 4th and 11 is not what you wanted to see. That is not building on the momentum that they had last time. And here's Tom Tuppa out for his 2nd punt of the night.
Yeah, maybe a little bit worried about turning over the ball. Probably the best explanation as to why, really. It's going to be scary trying to go. You had to pass deep against a very solid San Jose defensive back core. But with how your receivers have been playing, I'd like to see you at least try something downfield to continue your drive. But, I mean, that's why I'm not a coach. They did what they thought was best. The ball now back into San Jose's hands, just shy of the 40.
Getting a little ahead of yourself, DJ. You're calling the San Diego game next. San Jose starting to drive at their 37-yard line after a short return by Aiden Teixeira on the punt game. Brady handing off the ball to the near side to Rashawn Williams, who can, again, only get 2. It looks like Philadelphia spent the time between the first and second quarter really looking at how Rashawn Williams was running and preparing to stop him.
Yeah, looked like a lot more than 2 to me. But we're not on the field seeing the exact mark. They mark him down for 2, and again, a 4-3 look. They're shifting one of their linebackers to play close, though.
And it met at the line as Harleman falling for maybe 1 yard. They're going to give it to him 3rd and 7 now. It's back-to-back plays by the running backs that the Flight were leaning on early in the first that haven't gone for much gain. The question is, when are we going to see Shelton get more involved like we have on those 2 big plays already? There's motion going to the far side, the 4th receiver on that Flight group. Now 3 on the far side, 1 on the near side. White drops back with a 5-step, and it's picked off by Sammy Seatbelt the 3rd, able to bring it back to the 31-yard line. Philadelphia's going to have excellent field position here as we approach the 2-minute warning of the first half.
Yes, Sammy Seatbelt, a huge time to make a presence on this game. Playing down from Oklahoma City in this minor league season, gets his 2nd interception on the season, giving Brady his 13th. Passing the ball, and a huge sway of momentum now for Philadelphia, just outside of the opposing 30-yard line after what was a short drive previously for him. If you'd like to see him bounce back now, this would be the time to do so.
And that 19-yard return was better than any of the punt returns we've seen so far tonight. It was an excellent play by the corner. Oh, and Skimizniak gets brought down. There it is. We were waiting for it. Yep. Dave Wolf feasts on quarterbacks, and he shows why there. Just comes around, sees the blocking scheme, and is able to bring down Skimizniak right by his face.
Yep, make it 9 on the season, and you continue the 7 streak of games where you have a sack with that one.
And there's the 2-minute warning. Philadelphia with the ball going to examine their options, see what they can do with these last moments of the clock. Remember, they are receiving the ball with the second half, too. So if they can score here after grinding a little bit of clock, they can squarely take momentum of this game. Skimizniak lines up in the empty formation, 3 on the near side, 2 on the far side, 3-step drop, holds it quickly, gets rid of the ball to number 15. That is Jackson, Queen Jackson of Oklahoma City.
Yeah, runs a great route there. A nice cross over the middle of the field. And you see there, just gets a step on the corner. It's a risky throw. The defensive back was actually in front of the route. But if you hit it in stride, it doesn't even matter, which Skimizniak does. And I was worried there for a minute, John, that they might run that QB draw again. But thankfully, they actually go for it.
Skimizniak is an aggressive runner, but this time he's going to have faith in Jesse Fretz, who is trying to show off that shiftiness, but again can only push for a little over 2 yards, it looks like. Now 2nd and 8 from the 13-yard line. Cougars line up in a single back formation, 3-step drop, and sheds the sack from Wolf, but is almost brought down by Laggins. Skimizniak wisely gets rid of the ball and is able to get it on the turf without too much risk of an interception there.
Yeah, more often than not, that's going to be your KO shot, a hard hit from Wolf coming off the edge untouched. But Skimizniak stands tall and barely gets the throw off before he got hit for a 2nd time on the play.
Cougars in the quads formation. Skimizniak drops back and throws again into that coverage. Has a lot of faith in Rojas at the goal line. Again in that double coverage look, but just a bit too much that time. Can't come down with the ball. And I bet you we're going to see Sophia Peaches here go for it. There it is, the 30-yard attempt.
You sure are right. We've seen Peaches be perfect on the season, along with 47, 20 total points scored throughout the games. That one up and good.
Right through the middle. That Cougars home stadium keeps a nice staircase right in the middle of the post. Gives Peaches a good target to look at as the score, the 3 points there. We're all tied up now at 10. Peaches now lines up to kick it off back to the flight with Teixeira ready to receive.
I mean,
the kick is up. It is driving down the field. Teixeira takes it at the 6-yard line. Oh, that's Shelton. Pushes forward, gets hit at the 32, but is able to drive forward from another 5 yards. The flight are going to start with the ball again at their 37. Beautiful field position from the place kick return team on this San Jose special teams unit.
Yeah, for sure. Terrific field position indeed. And if you're this offense, I mean, you got to, if you want to even try and score, you're going to need to shake off the last interception from Brady, because if you do want to score, passing is going to be on the docket. But if we see a run, I think that'll dictate how they do the rest of this drive.
They've only got a minute to get down the field, but they do have all 3 timeouts as we see Robert Henson Jr. motion to the near side of the field. White hands off the ball to Williams, who's able to get his first big gain for a couple of drives now, and that's 5 yards. But you have to wonder, is this San Jose signaling that they're happy to go into the locker room at half tied at 10 here?
Yeah, I do think that's what it is, to be honest with you. Their offense can be explosive. I think if they did want to score, they would try and attack through the air, maybe try and take the lid off on a deep pass. But it looks like they're happy just going to the half.
Harleman gets the ball, runs to the far side after Gonzalez motioned slightly out to an offset position. But there's not too much gain as Jack Golden, that outside linebacker on the will position, is able to meet him pretty close to the line. White now lines up with the fullback and halfback behind in the I formation, surveys the line in front of him, drops to a big drop back, holds the ball for a little bit, but just too long as Robert Henson Jr. is absolutely swarmed by the linebacker and the corner. 4th and 4 with only 1 second to go. Looks like we're going to take this game into halftime, tied at 10, unless we see some absolute magic here after this Sean Lindetta punt.
With the returning we've seen, probably going to lean in the favor of no luck for them. Let's see, though. Crazier things.
Some of the most space we've seen before a punt all night, but Sanders can go nowhere with it, and we are going to take this game into half 10-10 after a very strong first drive by San Jose. Philadelphia has regained some control of this game and turned it into an absolute battle. DJ, tell me what you saw there in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle of these offenses doing a good job of scheming to do exactly what they want, right? I mean, San Jose has been in a lot of heavy sets, a lot of I form, doing exactly what they can blocking wise to get Williams a lot of room to run. You're seeing about 5 yards per carry for him. But when they do pass the ball, like we mentioned, it is available. A lot of explosive plays. We're seeing Jamar Shelton explode off for some huge explosive plays. And I think the thing that is separating this game right now is the San Jose pass rush onto Mike Skimizniak.
I think that's a great call, because the player of the half is Victor Rojas. Those catches that he's made have been absolutely game-changing, but this flight defense of Molina, Laggins, and Wolf have been all over the Cougars' line, keeping them close to the vest and Skimizniak out of his comfort zone. Welcome back, everybody, to the third quarter of this SFLm matchup between the home team Cougars and our defending SFLm champions, San Jose Flight. Zilla kicks the ball off, and the Cougars receive the ball. Dallas Sanders pushes past the first tackle at the 30, stays on his feet, and gets brought down at the 33-yard line. Philadelphia is going to start the field with slightly favorable field position. Let's see if Skimizniak goes back to these air attacks to Rojas and McBrownski, or if they try to go back to the dual threat running that they attempted very early in the game with Fretz and Witherson the fourth.
Yeah, I think it'd be something to note for sure. I think running the ball a bit more will open up your passing game even more than it has up to this point because your pass game has looked pretty good.
Skimizniak with 16 attempts in the first half. Something that we haven't seen a lot of teams try on either side of the ball are the play action plays. First handoff goes to Fretz, who's able to meet the contact at the line of scrimmage and roll forward for a gain of 4, maybe 4.5 there. Excellent work. Looks like Fretz has rested his legs well there in the halftime locker room. Skimizniak takes the ball again with an empty formation, 2 receivers on the near side, 3 on the far side as the flight defense spreads out, looking like they're going to attack this line from the tackles. We have motioned the block Jensen moving to the inside to help, but he's running a short route and a beautiful pass to Queen Jackson there just outside the numbers for a first down grab.
Yeah, that was a terrific pass. It was just a jumble of defenders and receivers, but Skimizniak knew what the play was, knew what the concept was, and knew Queen Jackson would be there if he threw it, and she was able to slip past defenders, haul it in before a rough hit was made at the end of that play.
Almost a bit of a rub route there. You had Jackson and Rojas bunching together and then spreading out, getting the corners and linebackers to collide with each other a bit. Here we have Block Jensen coming to the near side. Again, he's been doing a lot of motion tonight, but we haven't called his name yet as the ball is handed off to Jesse Fretz, who is met at the line and pushed back for a loss of 2. There's a defensive tackle, Ryan Pickett, who we see on the 4-3 looks in some of those nickel sets where the flight go a bit wider on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough to run against that, truly.
Skimizniak from the empty is being pressured on the far side by Wolf, but is able to get rid of the ball to number 18, Leon McBrownski, for another first down. It looks like the Cougars looked at the tape the same way that we did before half and said, we have to get the ball out to our receivers and we have to do it quickly. The edges and the interior linemen for the flight are keeping Mike on his toes, but thankfully Rojas, McBrownski, Jackson, and Sanders are all finding ways to find holes in the secondary and the middle parts of this flight defense. Skimizniak takes the ball after a 3-step drop, but Rojas can't make the shoestring grab. 2nd and 10 now as the Cougars re-examine what they want to do here at about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, your playbook is relatively open. You still have another down to play with. But me personally, with how your offense has been able to produce, I'd like to see a pass over these linebackers in the middle of a coverage. Maybe another cross by Queen Jackson or a post from McBrownski to take the top off of that middle of the defensive zone.
Jensen moves to the far side of the field, and we have pass interference on what would have been a tightly contested catch for McBrownski regardless, but it looks like the defender, Jesus Smith, just got a little too handsy a little too early, maybe a bit confused after dropping off coverage on the tight end, and we get defensive pass interference. Cougars with an automatic first down and are knocking on the door of the red zone here.
Yeah, just a bit too touchy there. You can't let Philadelphia have freebies like that whenever they're passing against your defense, just because you could see a big play by the defense at any point. You can't give them any free ones.
Skimizniak with a big drop back there, and a swing pass out to Fretz, who is able to get a 6-yard gain out of it. Constantly looking to elude that tackle and is certainly doing a good job shedding it, but not fully. Again, brought down at the point of contact. Skimizniak lining up here with a single back. Smithers-Witherson behind him with a slot receiver and a tight end on the near side. Smithers-Witherson gets the ball handed off, and he pushes forward for, I thought he almost had the first there, but this line judge says no, and it is 3rd and 1. Cougars have just a couple inches to go to keep this red zone drive alive.
Yeah, a great play call there to make it 3rd and very easy now, as long as you're able to get some blocks up front.
Fretz gets the ball and is able to dance through the first contact using that little swim move, gets around the tackle and the defensive edge there. And as you see, Frodo Laggins knowing that he could have had that tackle at the line, but instead Fretz is able to push forward for the first down. Cougars now with a 1st and goal to go at the 9-yard line. Skimizniak lines up 1 receiver on the far side, 3 on the near side with a tight end and a single back. We have motion from the linebacker on the flight, and Witherspoon is met with contact at the line, but it looks like he still falls forward for a few yards, maybe now at the 7-yard line. Skmizniak lines up again with a single back, ready to look and see what the defense offers him. Don't be surprised if we see another quick pass here as the flight defense is showing pressure, but the ball is handed off to Fretza again. A lot of contact here at the line, but not a lot of gain as Adam Archuleta, the strong safety, just new to the team, comes down and meets the halfback at the line. But Skmizniak wastes no time getting back to the line, trips to the near side, one on the far side, singled back with Smithers Witherson the fourth. Skmizniak drops back to a short pass to Rojas, but it's not going to be enough for him to get separation, as Whitley is right there to make the tackle. The Cougars drive falls short as they have to kick the field goal now from their 6-yard line for a 23-yard attempt by Sophia Peaches.
Yeah, and this one, sure to be money, as we mentioned earlier. Perfect. That rain continues, taking a 3-point lead off of what was a very rough and tough drive. 12 plays, about 5 per on that one. And just shy of 5 minutes on the drive. Took up a lot of the time coming into the half.
And they're going to kick the ball off now to San Jose, who went really run heavy in the first half. Brady White only throwing the ball a total of 7 times. So the receivers here, Teixeira and Shelton, are trying to get the most yards that they can in the special teams play. Teixeira's not able to quite get to his normal spot of the 30, and the Flight are going to take this drive at the 28 after an excellent coverage play by that Philadelphia special teams unit.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly held strong. It's going to be a hard task to take up, trying to stop this rushing attack. But at the same time, when they're playing behind like this, it certainly gives a chance for their pass game to get more involved, which at face value, Philadelphia has been able to stop a decent bit.
Williams, sole handleback, gets the ball handed to him, and he's able to fall forward for those 8 yards. That is the strong running that we're used to seeing out of Rashawn Williams. You really need to meet him with 3 tacklers right off the get-go, or he's going to be able to not just shed off the way that we've seen Fretz kind of be elusive. He's going to bulldoze you into submission if you meet him one-on-one at the line. White here with a I formation behind him. Speedy Gonzalez and Rashawn Williams line up. Oh, Harleman gets the ball handed off and is not... Ooh, he is getting the first down. The line judge says that forward progress pushed him just over that line as the Flight get the first down after what may have been a generous spot on the road. Not something that you always see here with these minor league refs. White lining up again in the single back formation. 2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side, with a tight end on the far as well. Handing off the ball to Williams, who cuts the ball back inside and just brings every defender he can with him, pushing forward for an 11-yard gain. Another first down for the Flight. Looks like they are staying on the ground here.
Yeah, they sure are. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've set up a lot of these runs to where they're attacking the weak parts of the Philadelphia defense at the moment it comes.
Brady with his first pass of the half is an excellent spot for Teixeira, just running right up the numbers. Met as soon as he comes down at the ball with that Cougars corner, but still enough for a huge gain as Tyler Highfield, the Dev free safety, closes down after the catch is made.
Yeah, that's really the first big connection between Brady and Teixeira, that dynamic duo we've seen so much of throughout the minor league these past few seasons. They bonded a lot and become good friends on and off the field. Good connection there for a huge game.
Rashawn Williams motion to the outside, setting up for a screen pass, but can't come down with it. Ball was a little loose coming out, but it looks like the Philadelphia defense read that play from the get-go. Drew Drizzy was there, ready to eat that screen as soon as it came out. White lining up in the split back formation with Williams on the far side and Harleman on the near side. Surveys the field with the 4-3 formation in front of him. White passes the ball to Rashawn Williams, who sheds the first tackle and brings a couple defenders with him for a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 6 now. We're probably going to see another pass as the Flight are just outside the red zone. Only 10 attempts for White, but still over 100 yards. Haven't seen him hit the end zone as we have trips on a bunch on the near side, single receiver on the far side. It looks like the linebackers of Philadelphia are expecting a pass. They've dropped back into a shell. Farleman moves to the far side, making more of an empty formation for White. Continues to survey the field. Sees with a three-step drop back and a beautiful catch by Bruce, one of the non-contract receivers for the Flight. And that's what happens when you have so many weapons that the defense has to contend with. Sometimes you leave just a bit too much space as the ball is thrown over J.C. Wallace, who's clearly expecting some kind of trick run there.
Yeah, certainly bid on maybe we thought would be a delayed draw or something along those lines. But did a nice job of attacking the area above him he wasn't able to cover.
White back into that split back formation, and you see that delayed handoff to Williams is once again working with success here in the red zone as he's able to drive the ball all the way into the end zone for a score. San Jose goes up 16-13, looking to make it 17-13 with the extra point when Scylla hits the field in just a moment.
Yeah, you can see Williams get caught up on the downed body of Harrison Kilgore. He has to kind of bounce off of a few defenders before.
But here's the red flag from the Cougars sideline. They're saying Williams was brought down and the knee hit the turf before they get the end zone. Looks like the home team coach is unhappy once again with the spot of the ball, and he's finally had enough and is throwing the challenge flag here. Let's see if this camera angle gives us any better look. I don't know if it's enough to overturn.
Yeah, I think he's in.
Ref is delivering the call, It is overturned, not charged a timeout. Philadelphia is getting this spot back, and they maintain their 3-point lead, but it's still second and goal from about the 1, maybe the 2-yard line if they were generous on the respot.
Yeah, there's not even a hair's length between the end zone and the ball.
Inches to go. White might just fall this ball forward. We know that he likes to use that long frame of his to do so. Cougars are stacking the box with man coverage on the sole receiver away from the middle spot. Williams tries to dive in, and they say that he got it. They say that the jump up over the line was enough, and Williams gets the points that were just taken from him back.
Oh, come on.
Ooh.
Throw another one.
Yeah, that looks even less secure than the one before.
No way. Where is it? Come on. Oh, come on.
No, Philadelphia's letting that one stand. Here comes Aldmir for the extra point to put San Jose up 4. And there it's up and good. 17-13 is the score with about 2 minutes to go here in the third after a 9-play, 73-yard drive that scored and then got unscored and then rescored for the Flight.
They tried to do it 2 plays in a row. You know where they hired these refs from, John?
Is it the replacement ref era? Are we going to see another Fail Mary tonight, DJ?
They hired them from Boston.
Oh!
I'm sure. Because 2 in a row is, come on.
That may just be the case as Philadelphia gets the ball back and Dallas Sanders pushes that return forward for a nice gain. Philadelphia starting the ball down 4 at their own 36. Here's Skamizniak taking the field, still with confidence though after a pretty strong showing at the end of the half and the beginning of this half. Let's see what he does with the ball here. Dane Jensen motioning to the near side of the field again, trying to pull out that Flight defense into some favorable coverages. Skamizniak with a 3-step drop, comes further back, and Wolf feasts again. Listen to the roar of that home crowd. Wolf feeds on the anger of when he's wearing that away uniform. Second sack of the night, absolutely solidifying his league lead on that stat.
Yeah, the big bad Dave Wolf with one of the meanest swim moves I have seen to date completely sheds off the blocker with ease. My goodness.
You don't always see the big man move like that. You see him bulldoze and power, but that time he said, no, I'm going to finesse you. I'm going to salsa, whoop, and just get through Skimizniak in the empty line. Again, Wolf with pressure, but Skimizniak's able to get the ball off to Sanders for a short gain, but it's not enough to even get them back to the original line of scrimmage. Cougars now with 3rd and 12 to go on what's looking like a rough start for this drive for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Skimizniak's been favoring the middle of the field as he lines up again in this empty set. 3 receivers on the near side, 2 on the far side. 5-step drop, surveys the field, pumps, fakes. Oh, but the coverage holds, and he's able to get the ball off to Leon McBrownski for a huge gain, and that clutch Philadelphia first down.
I mean, I've got to give preps to Skimizniak there. I cannot believe he stood in that pocket. Wolf was breathing down the back of his neck. It seemed like his arm was reaching out and touching his jersey, but he still was able to throw it downfield. The resilience and fortitude of Skimizniak let him complete that throw.
And gets McBrownski up over the century mark already before we even hit the 4th. Now we've got Victor Rojas motioning, so all the receivers are on the near side of the field. Skimizniak surveys what looks like man coverage, 3-step drop and a quick pass, but it's not accurate enough for McBrownski to get back-to-back catches, which would have been another first down. And Philadelphia stops the clock here. 2nd and 10 to go. Single back formation again. Skimizniak is looking at a 4-3 coverage, or actually it looks more like a nickel to me. The line spreads out. Skimizniak drops another 5-stepper and throws into tight coverage, bobbles it around, but Sam Archuleta can't come down with the acrobatic pick, and Skimizniak lives to throw another day.
Yeah, that one very, very risky. And that was one of the few times he had terrific pocket, time in the pocket. But still, a very risky throw downfield. The defender basically ran the route for the receiver. Was completely all the way in front of him. Make it trips to the top after that motion.
Skimizniak with another 5-step drop gets the ball out quickly to McBrownski, who was just joined by Sanders in that tight formation. And that's when we're seeing a lot of success from this Philadelphia air attack, when the defenders are getting jumbled up and bumping into each other. And they can't quite guarantee who's going to be the over or the undercovered man. Skimizniak's been reading that middle part of the field beautifully, once again with a completion there. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Game is 17-13 with the Flight having a slight advantage over the Philadelphia home team Cougars. Get your 4s up in chat. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight on this beautiful night of SFLm action. Make sure that you smash that like button if you haven't already. I know Goosebusters and JW Hart have. Make sure that if you're in chat hanging out, you are smashing the like. It helps not only the SFLm, but the SFL and even the UFL as Jesse Fretz gets handed off the ball and makes an excellent 9-yard gain, bringing down the ball into the red zone, but not quite to the first down there. Jeremetrius Butler is the one who stops that from being a much bigger play. Could have been a huge gain for Fretz, but instead it's just that 9 yards. Skimizniak now lines up and observes the field. We've got a nickel coverage by the Flight. Fretz looks, and again we see Dane Jensen motioning from one side of the field to the other. Looks like Skimizniak's been using him a lot to read what the defense is going to be throwing in front of him. Holds onto the ball a little longer, and we hand off to Smithers Witherson, who tries the stiff arm and is able to get the first defender off, but can't quite break the second defender coming down.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough run. The defenders at that 2nd and 3rd level shot down very quickly to help in the run game, and they did so successfully. Although he did get past the sticks, they were there for cleanup duty.
Dime look for the Flight, lining up man coverage as Leon McBrownski motions to the near side, followed by Andre Pope. Drop back. Ooh, Wolf's cover pressure is picked up, and we almost get a pick there from Adam Archuleta, but just can't come down with it. Again, ball hitting him squarely in the chest and face mask but just can't get his hands together for the pick. Skmizniak's got a couple of these lucky plays this drive. Hopefully, if you're Philadelphia, you're hoping that he's able to capitalize and get the 4 points you need on the board. Drops back in the split formation, escapes to the far side, throws into coverage, and is almost picked off as there is lots of coverage. That's Ramnar Sudi, the free safety, who has 3 attempts at the pick there, but also just can't quite make it work.
It's about the 5th or 6th opportunity we've seen at an interception for Philadelphia. That the first time being from a contracted player, the chance to do it. But, you know, just none of them being able to take advantage of. Skmizniak going to throw again.
From the empty set, gets it forward to Rojas, and he's able to fall forward across the line. They get not only the 4 points they need, but that's 6 on the board. Philadelphia up 19-17 now, and we're likely going to see Peaches here come out to give Philadelphia that 3-point advantage back.
Yeah, we're seeing some more Philadelphia third down magic. They are so talented at being able to convert when it matters the most. And that's just an instance of San Jose not being able to take advantage of risky throws by Skmizniak. I mean, we had 5 or 6 attempts at a pick that drive, and just all of them were not taken advantage of. You know, you could say that's why they are on defense. They're not paid to catch the ball. But at the same time, I know the coaches on the sideline are pulling their hair out whenever they see those plays that could have been picked drop to the turf.
You've got that right. We've seen not only the flight secondary in Pope and Sudi, but we've even seen Kadudi come down with some incredible picks in the past. So you know this flight defensive coordinator is laying into these coverage guys on the sideline now. They need to come down with one of these takeaways. The Cougars, the flight, Shelton gets the ball and returns it for a nice little gain, averaging 30 on the day after that rough one before. But now San Jose's got the ball on their 36. Here's White talking to his guys in the huddle, trying to say, you know, here's the game plan. We've got 8.5 to go. We're only down by 3. I bet you they're going to be aggressive on the ground early and trying to open up some passes so that they can get another big score here on this drive. Here's Williams with a lot of room to run, gets a huge gain of about 16 right off the bat. That's exactly what you want to see if you are the flight offensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely. One of his best of the day, if not the best of the day. Finally gets met downfield by a defensive back and linebacker Golden, who's trying to play catch up there. Williams passing the century mark on that terrific run that pushed them past midfield.
The flight in that split back formation, again going with the delayed handoff, this time to Joel Harleman, but he can't find the magic that Williams has been finding when they've called that play in the red zone. Maybe it's a bit too much field in front of him, or maybe Harleman just doesn't have the right move set for it. But that split back formation just isn't working between the 20s, as now they go back to the single back formation with a tight end and a slot receiver, and then spread receivers. And it looks like there's Henson Jr. motioning from the far side to the near side of the field. I bet you we see Williams run the ball again here towards us, as White steps back, surveys the field, and a quick little swing pass to Williams, who's able to turn nothing into something. Quick little 3-yard gain, 3rd and 7 to go now.
Yeah, the linebacker doing a nice job of cleaning it up after the shallow flat was thrown to there. It seemed they were just trying to get their best player the ball in some space.
Flight lining up with a bunch of receivers on the far side, single back. White thinks about an audible, but escapes out to the far side instead. Throws the ball dangerously into double, maybe even triple coverage to Aiden Teixeira. High points it, but not quite enough to break the coverage. And we're now at 4th and 7, and the flight are not getting what they want out of that drive after what was a disappointing defensive drive as well. Sean Landetta comes out to punt, hoping to put the Cougars deep in their own territory.
Let's see, looks kind of shanked to the left side, but I mean inside the 20. I mean it's successful. Inside the 20 in my eyes is I mean a good punt, really.
Absolutely, and wide receiver Aiden Teixeira, playing gunner on that play, broke through the coverage, forcing the fair catch, so there's no return even attempted. Not something you see every day in the SFLm. Usually these punt returners try for a couple yards when they can. Skamizniak takes the field again with a single back, drops back to pass, but is immediately picked up by Jeremitrius Butler, the strong side cornerback, who says, you know what, if the linebackers can't do it, if the safeties can't do it, leave it to the corners. And he just stands still and fights off Rojas for an incredibly clutch pick here in the fourth, giving San Jose the ball back at the Philadelphia 24-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, we talked so much about them not taking advantage of risky throws. That time they did just that. It seemed like he wanted to go to Rojas that entire time and did so.
White breaks the split back formation, but we still see a delayed handoff to Williams after the other back pushed out with about a 9.5-yard gain. Williams gets it second and inches. We're seeing some interesting spots here. That looked like a first down to me, but they weren't going to give it to him. And that's A-okay if you're Philadelphia, I'm sure. They line up here with the line of scrimmage on the yellow line for the first down. Flight in I formation, Speedy Gonzalez in front of Joel Harlan. Harlan takes the ball, stiff arms off the first hit of Drew Dizzy and fights forward for a few more yards before being taken down by the linebacker. We see the flight coach there getting his defense ready to take the field back. They want to score quickly on this drive and make Philadelphia respond.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to stay ahead of the chains, and ideally, you want to end this drive with a lot of runs, taking a lot of time off the clock.
Williams takes the ball, spins through, and falls forward for the touchdown, using those long arms to break the plane. And he's flexing on this Philadelphia crowd. The flight now taking a 3-point lead once again with just under 6 minutes to go here in the fourth.
I mean, that's just such a beautiful play. You run a zone to the right side. Your wide receivers are blocking the outside to perfection. You have one man to beat. What does Williams do? A perfectly timed spin move to help him break the plane after the sole tackler was left in disarray. At the magic Williams was able to produce. They're going to take a 4-point lead with just under 6 minutes to go.
And that's how you take advantage of a turnover. 3 plays on that drive to give them that 4-point lead back. Now kicking the ball off to Philadelphia. Let's see if we get another big return from Sanders, or if San Jose can get the special teams unit clicking on all cylinders. The ball is received by halfback Thomas Jones, who is able to slide under a first tackle and push forward a little bit, but falls down at the 33-yard line. Mike Skamizniak now with just under 70 yards to go for this drive to get his team the lead back. They're going to need 7 points here. Lining up with tight ends on both sides and spread receivers, Skamizniak sees the flight nickel in front of him, looks around, does a short drop back and a quick pass out, and again just bopping the ball in the back of Andre Pope's helmet on coverage that the receiver couldn't quite break out in enough space for.
Yeah, it seems a lot of the first read syndrome, if you will. Skamizniak locks into one target and he wants to throw to him the entire time. Seems like he's not really reading his progressions fully, and even throws into tight coverage like we just saw there.
Skamizniak breaks out a little bit, but he takes his eyes off downfield and once again tries to get it into Rojas when there's a receiver right on his back. Rojas wants the flag there, but it looks like the refs aren't willing to throw it. Now the Cougars with 3rd and 10 on what's coming down to be a must-have play. Skamizniak in the empty set, 3 on the near side. Oh, we're motioning out, so we're going to have 4 on the near side and 1 on the far side. This formation's been successful for the Cougars in the past. Skamizniak reads the field and takes the snap, drops back and quickly releases the ball, but it's intercepted again. That is one of the corners for flight. James Whitley is able to jump in front of Sanders when it looks like Rojas might have been the intended target and the ball was slightly overthrown. San Jose now once again taking the ball in Philadelphia territory, starting here at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, it just, again, it's so hard for Skamizniak because the pressure is there every time. The plays aren't developing fully. You got to make errant throws. Oh, and we're going to see an injury. It's
Ooh,
J.C.
that
Wallace
J.C.
Jr.
Wallace
Ouch.
Jr., you hate to see that if you're Philadelphia. That is the young stud outside linebacker who's been absolutely crushing it from the Sam position. He goes down after Williams gets about a 6-yard gain on the first play of the drive. At this point, if you're San Jose, you just keep feeding Williams and Harleman. Let that clock come down. These guys are averaging over 4 yards a carry. Williams with 6.5 on the night. Let this clock come down. You're in absolutely no rush as you're basically already in field goal position. Williams spins off the first tackle, getting the flight, another first down, and he is surely feeling himself tonight.
Yeah, sure is. And at this point in the game, you just need to keep feeding him and Harlem in the rock so they can continue to stay ahead of the chains and milk as much of this clock as you can.
Cougars showing pressure as Dwayne Rudd lines up on the near side. And so they run to the far side, but they are met at the line. Harleman is taken down by Nick Fargo, the inside linebacker, for just a gain of 1. But they're not rushing back to the line. White's happy to use as much of this play clock as he can as the flight line up in that split back formation. Here's a delayed handoff to Williams again, who spins through the first hit for a nice 7-yard gain. 3rd and 2 now from about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking a lot of time, but you can see they're going to hike this with about 25 left on the play clock. I think they should be in full chew clock mode. I think they should be letting off a lot more time than they are.
Harleman pushes past the line, finds a gap between the tackle and the guard, is able to get the first down, basically no contact, and then is met by the strong safety coming in to prevent further gain. But now we're at 1st and 10 from about the 12, quite nearly 1st and goal to go. You're starting to get in the tighter part of the playbook. White surveys the field, sees the Cougars spreading out, so they get Williams the far side ball, but an absolutely wonderful play by the strong safety Kev C. Jr. to come down and grab Williams with only 2 yards gained. White now lining up with 3 receivers on the near side, single back and 1 on the far side. And we have someone motioning to even further out. Harleman is able to shed that tackle and push forward for the first down, but gets brought down just before the 2-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal to go from 2nd and inches, we'll say.
Yeah, very tough run there from Harleman on a play that could have been stopped right at the line, if not behind it. He turns into a very explosive play, breaking the first tackle and fighting through the second. 1st and goal now. Let's see how much time they're able to chip away with these 3 last remaining plays, or if they score right away.
We've got an offset fullback lined up. They get the ball to Williams, who follows the fullback and is able to push forward for another score. That is Williams' 3rd of the night, 4th if you count the one that was called back. And now San Jose have a 10-point lead, up 30-20.
Yeah, nothing to call back on that one. Well clear into the end zone. You see the block there from 41 on their front. That's Gordel Khan. Does a good job of getting his rusher to the ground. And then the tackle does a nice job of turning his hips and forcing the defender outward. And that makes just a huge hole for Williams to run through. And just no one even able to get a hand on him before he's already in the end zone.
And you look at the difference between this drive and the previous one, both starting off the interception, but instead of a 3-play quick score, they went 8 plays on that drive and really chewed down as much of the clock as they could. Now kicking the ball off with just under 3 minutes to go and an 11-point lead. For Philadelphia to come back, they're going to need 2 touchdowns. They cannot get away with a field goal at any point tonight. Sanders takes the ball forward to the Philadelphia 33-yard line. Nice little return there. 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Skimizniak leads his offense back onto the field, and they're going to need to get some Philly fourth quarter magic going. Trips on the far side of the field, one receiver to the near side. Skimizniak looks at the defense in front of him and sees a 4-3, takes a 5-step drop, scans, but gets eaten up by Dave Wolf. Can't get rid of the ball quickly enough. They rush back to the line. That's Wolf's fourth sack of the game. Philadelphia is absolutely letting them get away with it, but here's the other side of the coin as they get the ball out quickly now to one of the tight ends, right back up to the line. Skimizniak draws his team to the trips on the near side formation. Beautiful one-handed grab by McBrownski there. Oh, wow. They take the field immediately back, pushing this San Jose Flight defense, trying to make them tired. Skimizniak drops back, almost throws a pick as Wolf was in his face again, and Jeremitrius Butler was ready in coverage for that rushed pass.
Yeah, I mean, that was just another one of those opportunities where you got to make a play on the ball, but I don't blame the defender. It was like 3 or 4 quick plays in succession. You're going to be certainly tired. Maybe we saw some of that fatigue set in on that catch attempt.
Cougars lining up here in an empty set, and Skimizniak just overthrows the receiver, Jackson, who had fallen down on the play. I'm not sure if she lost her footing on the beat-up turf or might have been some early contact there, but Philadelphia now 3rd and 10 in what is certainly a must-have first down at this point in the game. Lines up with trips on the near side, scans the field, drops back with a 5-step drop, quickly gets the ball out, but is picked off by Jeremitrius Butler, who has been all over this game, and this might go all the way, but Skimizniak makes the defensive save after a huge return by Butler, and that might just seal the deal for the Flight.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to see one run for San Jose, and then it'll be the 2-minute warning, and after that it'll be just 3 timeouts, and that's it. And you see Jeremitrius Butler getting his second there. He is the same corner that missed the interception previously. So he gets his get back, pulls that one in and sends him the other way. And I'd argue this one is just all but over now.
As the Flight take their final snap before the 2-minute warning, they do need at least one first down as Williams dances off the first tackle, pushes to the outside, and gets them that first down. Now the Flight with 1st and 10 after the 2-minute warning from about the 18-yard line. They can do just about whatever they want with the ball at this point, and Williams is absolutely the reason that they are coming away with this game as strongly as they have been. Wouldn't you say, DJ?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's their run game. I mean, everything about what they're doing is just making it seem like they're unstoppable.
Flight line up in an I formation. White sees the spread D line in front of him, gets the ball to Williams, who again finds that hole just outside the tackle and before the tight end. The Cougars called their first time out of the night. Flight now with 2nd and 1 to go at the 8-yard line. Lining up again here in tight formation with the I double backs. Looks like they're going to hand it off to Harleman to push for these yards and keep that clock moving down. It's Williams still in the field looking for his additional score for the night. Cougars called their second time out, trying to get their defense as much rest and time to strategize as they can. The Flight lining up again with the I formation. Multiple tight ends on the field trying to get as much protection as they can for the running game, where Cougars are lining up on their goal line formation. Lots of defenders in the box. Williams gets the ball. It is met at the line, pulled down just about the line of scrimmage, maybe even a loss of 1 as the Cougars call their final time out of the night. We'll see here if the Flight push for the dagger of the score or if they just run out the clock here. Looks like they're still pushing for that final score. Williams is on the field, and they want to challenge this Cougars defense, showing a blitz. Are they going to meet the runner behind the line of scrimmage, or is Williams going to show that strength again? Williams dances over the first one, pushes through the second one, and gets into the end zone for another 6. San Jose up 37-20. Absolutely putting this game away at the end here in the fourth quarter.
John, I think that is what they call a checkmate. I mean, Williams getting his 4th, like you said earlier, should have been 5th if they didn't call that one back. But I mean, just hammering away at this defense. 28 of the 38 points for San Jose coming at the hands of Williams and his tenacious running attack, and many more yards than that. He has been the catalyst for their offense. And coming into this game, it's about exactly as what we expected. I mean, you look at Philadelphia; they went a little bit off course as to what we expected, but they've had a few games where they've done that and went full out air attack, and this was one of them.
That's right, and what had been a pretty back and forth game all day, showing a heavy defensive battle early and great special teams plays throughout, turned into an 18-point blowout at the end of the day. Absolutely something that you're going to have a gold medal on the bulletin board if you're the Flight. And if you're the Cougars, you know that you've got some good things to build on here. There was excellent work in all 3 phases of the game in the first 3 quarters, but it was when Skmizniak just got a little panicked when Wolf and this big, bad Flight defensive line kept him off of his game towards the end of this one. Empty formation here, gets the ball up and over to Victor Rojas. They're not throwing in the towel here. They say, we can get these 18 points if we just drive. Skmizniak gets the ball out again. There's Sanders for another first down. They're going to push this empty formation set, try and keep the Flight defenders as far back as they can, opening up these underneath routes. But there we see double coverage in the middle of the field, and Rojas just doesn't have the length to get over both linebackers. The Cougars here now have a moment to reorganize, see if they go back into that empty formation, and sure enough they do. We're going to have 3 receivers on the far side and 2 on the near side. Skmizniak takes the ball in a 2-step drop, quickly gets the ball right out into the hands of James Whitley, another non-contract corner for the Flight. Looks like they have been just absolutely feasting on the middle of the field here, and Skmizniak is gripping the ball a little too tight. There is a straight line between him and Rojas, and like you said, Skmizniak never broke his eyes from that pass, and the defender read it like a book.
And to the credit of Skmizniak, it's hard not to whenever the defensive line is giving you so much pressure. But whenever you're forcing it in like that, it's going to result poorly. And we've seen a 4th interception there, the 2nd for Whitley, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. I think that's 2 each for Whitley and Butler there. Flight now out in that victory formation, as they're just going to be happy to grind this clock all the way down to 0 after just a incredible, I don't know if you'd quite call it a comeback performance, but just an incredible performance there in the 4th quarter by the Flight to take control of this game by going back to the well that's worked so well for them all season. Rashawn Williams has got to be your player of the game, right, DJ?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And as these victory formations come in, Williams, the former Cougar, almost assuredly getting booed off of the field tonight after a dominant performance against his old squad.
And there's the final whistle of the game, our center handshake between the coaches. Our final score, San Jose 38, Philadelphia 20. The Flight going to 6-1 on the season as the Cougars fall to 3-4. DJ, what was your biggest takeaway from that game?
I've got 2 letters and 2 numbers for you. RW32. Or 32, I guess you'd say, if you want 2 numbers. And Rashawn Williams was just dominant. 30 carries, just about 175 rushing yards. If you're running the ball 29 times, John, and you're averaging 6 yards a carry, that's scary. That's scary football.
You've got
a
that
set
right.
of 4 touchdowns for Williams as well. I mean, he dominated.
You've certainly got that right, and I believe I saw there were 17 broken tackles for him on the day as well. Just incredible work on the ground by the San Jose running room. Well, that'll do us here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this second game of SFLm action. Be sure to stick around for the Aces and Wolves on the final game of the night. On behalf of Alex West in the truck and my co-host DJ Kilgannon, I'm John Campbell. Thank you and good night.